Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar titled How to Jumpstart Your Hyperautomation Journey with AI-driven RPA. Well, this webinar is brought to you by Express Computer in partnership with IBM. I'm your host of the day, Sandhya Michu. I'm principal correspondent with Express Computer. Whether identifying the right processes and tasks to automate, diagnosing, and eliminating bottlenecks, automating decisions, or gaining insight using intelligence, well, hyperautomation can help in reducing time spent on routine tasks to improve operational efficiency and overall business performance. Starting with an integrated process mining tool, you need an end-to-end solution that uses AI and machine learning, RPA bots, and other automation technologies to guide your hyperautomation strategy. Therefore, using the right solution is central to an enterprise's future. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this webinar, we will learn best practices and the starting steps that are required to start your hyperautomation journey. But before we take this session forward, let me give some webinar related information. This is an audio video webinar is being broadcast live, and this video will be available as on demand. We will have poll questions in between. Request all to participate in the same from the audience. We will have a round of Q&A at the end of the webinar. However, you can send in question at any time during the webinar using the Q&A text box. If you face any technical issues, please try to refresh your browser or else reach out to our team using the same question text box. If you have any further question or wish to interact with the speaker, please leave a comment using the question box and the IBM team will contact you post the webinar. Finally, a survey form will appear in your browser after the webinar ends. We look forward to your feedback. So that's all from my side. Now I would like to introduce our speakers for the day. Today, we are joined by Malcolm Ong. He's a IBM automation sales leader at IBM Asia Pacific. When Malcolm leads the robotic process automation for the Asia Pacific at IBM. He has great experience in building the partner ecosystem to enable and empowering business partners in helping customers with their digital transformation journey. Passionate, cross-functional, creative, and results-driven channel professional with over 15 years of experience across automation, cloud storage, and telecom. Our next speaker is Vipin Paliwal. He's a sales leader, IBM Automation at IBM India and South Asia. I just quickly introduce Vipin. Vipin has a wide experience in sales and business development of software products in the areas of enterprises, business process management, data capture solution, and document management solution with enhanced business analytics solution. Currently, he leads the sales team of IBM in digital transformation for India and Southeast Asia. So without taking much of your time, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Vipin to take the session forward. Vipin, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Sandhya. Hi, everyone. Afternoon to everyone, and thanks for taking out time and participating in this. So I would like to talk about the journey of hyperautomation. Malcolm sharing the presentation is going to come up soon. I'm going to talk about how the hyperautomation helps, it helps the client to automate the complete part of the process in the organization. What you see on your screen, what's an hyperautomation is how do you automate a human, a knowledge worker in complete sense. So what we at IBM think about it is that humans have two brains, right brain and the left brain. So right brain, the left brain is called the rules-based, the simple thinking of logic brains. And the right one is an AI cognitive brain. So we bring a technology that helps you to take simple logic-based, rules-based solution, that is the rules-based product capability, and also AI cognitive rules, which are dynamic in nature, which helps the organization to take faster dynamic decisions in terms of cognitive, repetitive, similar type of kind of rules. that you can think about it. Brain then we have the memory part of the content. That is where you archive all your kind of documents. Eyes are like your capture, that is what you see, what you want to extract, and you see them, and then you extract the data. Mouth is like a chatbot, what you speak you have in mind, and you give the information or the knowledge out to the people whom you're trying to ask. And the workflow is an orchestration where it will move through your system and understands what is being needs to be processed as part of the workflow from between on the body. RPA are handbots. It's like a repetitive task that needs to be completed, and it does according to that. So this is like automating a complete human system using our tools and technology. What have I just talked about it is these kind of tools we provide to automate the complete human knowledge worker like a hyper automation. You would have in your journey would have looked at something called either automating part of an RPA or a process flow or a content or a rules. But what we provide as one solution part of the product portfolio is completely automating a human, which helps you to completely automate the part of the process in your organization. Now, moving to the next slide, what we have as part of our offering. What we have as part of our offering is something called IBM Cloud Pak for business automation. What it means is whatever I just talked about, we're going to put it into one part of the product, and we build all these products together as one bundle and offer to our client, saying that this package helps you to automate your human, the people working with you, plus it also helps you to automate the organization processes as well, which brings you the complete efficiency in your organization that helps you to uh, you know do more with less. The same people can improve the part of the complete operation efficiency. So that's another part of it that we bring in. Now let me go one by one. What do you say, left to right? We see something called a capture. That is a capability of capturing content from the documents, like the physical document or the printed documents. It extracts the data from them, and once it extracts that, it can archive that into a content repository. The second one, the content repository, when I mean is a repository helps you to archive that uh, data into that repository and make sure all the documents in the organization are kept into a single repository, like a knowledge repository. The third is the rules engine. That's a decision that we have, decision system. It helps you to take decisions uh, touchless, and it automatically streamlines the decision flow. Business users can change these decisions and logics automatically. The other part of it is the workflow. Workflow is the part of the process which moves from people to people in a digital manner, be it a content driven or an image driven flow that helps you to move the process flow from people to people rather than touching files, paper, or gathering information from people. So all that comes as part of a solution. Last is the task, that is the RPA. This is called the IBM RPA. Now, what it helps is it is like any kind of repetitive task, which is similar in nature, can be done by a raw RPA rather than a human. And it automatically automates the complete part of the task part of it. We bring in the complete operational intelligence, that is the what's happening on the floor using our tools and technologies on the operational intelligence. We call it business automation inside. It gives you the complete KPI dashboard reporting capability of every process task happening on the floor. You can deploy this on cloud, on premise, or any cloud provider that you like, or a hybrid model of mix of it. You can do that also. Now, that's what helps you to deploy it on a container, on a VM, whichever you like it. Now, what is the core automation we bring in? We bring in the capture capability, that is digitizing your content, manage your workflows, that is all the process automation that we bring in. We bring in faster decision capability, that is the logics of complex rules can be simplified and managed and maintained by the business team. We bring the low code, no code capability, faster to deploy and deliver the processes, not in months, in weeks. and monitor them all as a dashboard reporting capability. The AI part of it, what we bring here is we automatically classify the document, understand the type of document, extract it, learn the type of document in automatically. And next time when it comes, it brings the accuracy much better. We prioritize the task based on, you say that if the task transaction is on a higher value from need to be paid higher or higher value based on certain logics, it can jump the queue and it can be attended by the most experienced people on the floor. Okay, so we can do that AI capability as well. Make predictive decisions. So any type of transaction or similar in nature had been performed in the past. A similar predictive decisions can be shown to a knowledge worker to take a decision in terms of this kind of transaction, similar kind of has been, approved, or this was the nature of the logic decision that has been taken. So he can take a, past experience from that and apply AI operations data. That is, it gathers certain data and shows you where are your bottlenecks, where are challenges, then you can increase your profit performance efficiency in terms of look at the process optimization that you can do. The RPA is the most interesting part in this, and my friend Malcolm is going to talk about in detail. It can perform any type of repetitive task. Not only just repetitive task is a nature you might have heard from all. We also bring AI capability in our RPA, like your chatbot, IVR bots, and many more which we are bringing in. So we also bring that, and we also bring in the capability to extract content from structured and unstructured data or documents and bring them under the RPA part of the process flow. So this all mix, we bring it under the hyperautomation capability. Think about it. We are not, if you would have talked about when OEM, he would have said, I can automate your process part of it. Some says I can automate part of your capture, some content or some RPA. But what I say here is, I will automate all part of it, complete. The complete automation we bring into you as one part of the process, one part of a tool capability called the Cloud Pack for Business Automation, and we automate it all. Going to the next slide. This slide helps you to know that where is IBM investing. IBM is investing in technologies which are in future in nature. For example, you can deploy all of these products, which I just talked about, not only on a VM, but also on a container. And using the IBM Cloud Pack for Business Automation, we provide the Red Hat OpenShift part of our product offering together. That means you can deploy these products not only as a VM standalone installation, but you can also deploy it on any container. And plus, we bring it together something called the Red Hat OpenShift product as part of the bundle. That means you can take this product, deploy it on a Red Hat OpenShift, where you don't need to look at the Red Hat OpenShift license, which is coming part of the bundle, and deploy them on the Red Hat OpenShift. The benefit you get here is the scalability, the where you can scale it horizontally, vertically, manage maintenance of the products in the when they go live, managing, maintaining, make it much easier. You can upscale, swing the number of containers as you like, increasing the product efficiencies. So that's what it brings all together. Having said that, this part of the bundle brings in also the other part of it. For example, what you're seeing is Vast Liberty, the DB2, the IBM event streams, another part of it. So what I'm trying to say is that the main part of the bundle, business automation workflow, that's defined, which is the workflow capability that we bring in. FileNet Content Manager is the content repository part of it. Operation Decision Manager is the rules part of it, which we bring it together. IBM RPA, just I talked about it, and other part of the tools as well. We bring all this together as one part of our product offering in the IBM Cloud Pack for Business Automation. Going to the next slide. This is pretty interesting in terms of our analyst review. We've been engaged with analyst review for the last 2 decades. We've been leader in most of these products in the Gartner leader quadrant over a period of time. Okay, if you see it, Gartner has been rating us in the leader quadrant for the workflow, in the capture space, in the content space, and also now challengers in the business decision space. Forrester is rating under the RPA and the decision space. So we've been leader in all of these products that we bring you as an offering, and we try and automate our client complete end to end. We just don't make a piecemeal system. So our approach is to make a client completely automate from start of the process to the end of the process. And all these tools and technologies will help you to automate all the part of the process. So we cover the length and breadth, and we are one of the vendors in the market who gives the complete length of breadth of the product on the hyper automation space. So there were, having said that, the most important thing I want to cover here is IBM been also been in the leader in terms of the number of customers we have, the number of revenue that we generate from these products portfolio globally. We've been leaders in both the part of it. So you will find with IBM the most amount of referenceable customers, satisfied customers on these technologies, delivered by our ecosystem of business partner that we have across the globe. Especially now we're talking about India here. We have about 4,000 certified consultants as of now that provides you support implementation services on this product technology, the ecosystem that we have. So there where we have the complete length and breadth of our solution. Now, before going to the next slide, I would like to ask a poll of question that I would like to ask everybody on the call. And
so I will help Vipin here. So to the audience, we are launching this very interesting poll. So the poll question is, what percentage of your transactional work is automated today? And the options are, there are 4 options: less than 25%, option second is 25 to 50%, 50 to 75%, and the last option is fully automated. So we have 45 seconds. So I request audience to please participate in this poll and come up with a result, and we will shortly have the results. So Vipin, it was really interesting to know the wide range, the portfolio of RPA and AI, and how IBM is really taking this forward in the enterprise space. So what is overall, so looking at this poll question, what is your thought on this? So what should be the percentage of today's organization are using?
I would suggest people, I would suggest people would be about a 25 to 50%. But people, I am seeing in the organization today, which the customers and prospects I'm talking about, they want to move to 50, 75% space or fully automated, because every organization have a challenge today in terms of saving cost, increasing efficiency in the organization, do more with less. So these are certain 3 points people are looking at, and people wants to move towards the larger part of it. So to make sure, they are there.
Sure, Vipin, and our audience, I think, more or less very much agree with you. So 25 to 50% said 31%, but the highest respondent were given to less than 25%. 38% said less than 25%. 31% responded to 25 to 50% option. 29% responded to 50 to 75% option, and fully automated yet to see the light, it's just 2%. So any thought on this result?
I think it's very interesting to see the number of people 25%, because those people on the call, we have something to talk about with you. We need to synergize something to discuss in detail in terms of where your visions are, and we can align towards that. In terms of, we would have definitely something to offer to you and to help your organization to reach to the automation space from 75% to 100% in terms of how we can do that. And believe me, it's not just about large enterprise. We have good amount of small and medium enterprise where we've automated that and brought them huge amount of results and ROI savings in that. So saying that, I would pass on to Malcolm, who's my colleague from Asia Pacific, and he will help us, all of us, to give some vision in terms of how hyperautomation can help you, your organization, reaching the strategic technology trend for 2021. Malcolm, over to you.
Thank you, Vipin, for sharing the cloud pack for business automations. Just to check, can you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yes, Malcolm.
All right.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
will spend about another half an hour just talk about the hyper automations of IBM side. So hyper automation is a buzzword that recently came out from a Gartner. So automations has been in the industry for a while, but as the times go, the complexity of the process and the business model getting more complex. So what the end user require much more powerful tool automations too, right? That is where we infuse the AI, and we are looking at a tool that is require low code or no codes to develop. So that is where the Gartner talk about hyper automation. Is the end-to-end automation, or in a way called intelligent automation. I'll bring you to this slide here. So Gartner also that predicts that in the world labor value by 2022 is an estimate about 134 millions of labor value in the markets, and this has to be delivered by automations with AI capability, right? The normal automations tool that in the market is not enough to meet up with their demands. So that is where we can share with you in the next half an hour, talk about the AI and how do we infuse AI into the RPA and the process mining. So in IBM, if you want to start out with the automation journey, right? We look in 3 stages. One, you want to have a quick win, right? The first win with you as a customer, right? And how do we do that is through the process mining and the RPA. After you have a quick win, you get ROI, how you want to move forwards. That is the next step, is to win again and win more with IBM RPA++. That is what we talk about, IBM hyper automation. Now, let's take a look into the phases. The first phase is the discovery. A lot of people in the markets right now, they say, well, what are the processes that I can automate? Is good candidates to automate, right? In a normal way, we need to do is to have a business analysis, talk to all the process owner to get all this information. But here, we doesn't need to do that. We have a tool called IBM Process Mining to identify which are your process that require automation and bring this information to you. At the same time, do simulation. That is the first phase. And the second phase, we talk about once you got the process identified, how do we have automations implement quickly, have a quick win? And that is where the RPA come into the pictures to help you to reduce error, reduce cost, improve the productivities. Once you got that in the first 6 months, the next step is that you want to go more, you're getting more hungry, you're getting more complex in the process. That is where, what we've been talk to you about the cloud pack for business automations, workflow, content, decision, and capture. They help you to do an end-to-end automations over here. The first thing we're going to talk about is process mining. Okay, what is process mining? So process mining, how it perform is they actually, getting the log events from your process, put into the process mining tool, and you actually process and give you 2 types of insight. One is what you call automation insight, to tell you what is the process deviations, performance, automations opportunity. And once we got that, and how do we translate into the business insight? This is where we find that, hey, well, what is your KPI? Is your process is meeting your KPI? If not, how can we actually do some simulations to improve your process and make it more alignments with your KPI? So right now, this is how the process mining tool looks like. And this is after we have input your event log. And this is, we have the visualize tool to present to you. What is the status of each stages of your process? All these are be indicates with the value indications over there. Now, after that, we will come back to you as a scenario saying that, well, in the first process, productivity times, what would that be? How much times is mixed ideas over there? Because sometimes your employee is not full-time doing on their particular process, right? She or he will be complete this thing and wait for a while and continue the rest of the project. And it's telling you that your first process for payment service closure, the productivity is only 1 hour, 4 minutes, but the process either for 4 hours. And at the same time, there are some tasks, time are wasted on other tasks. That means that this whole process, it take a longer time. And this is where the process mining will able to capture this information and bring it to you on the table. And the best part here, our IBM process mining, we can do simulation. And we identified if you had a process, probably takes about 10 steps. And out of this 10 steps, we realized there are 6 steps that actually can use RPA to automate this process. We can do a simulations over here. And you can tell you what is the current lead time and what is the estimated improved time that you can achieve. And what is the cost that it has been invested on this process. So process mining has the capability to do a simulation, not just showing you the number of figure and data, but we can do simulation. How do you want to achieve at the end of the day? That is process mining. And of course, we have some great success story around the world. So this is one of our success story with our customers in the global side. So what we have to do here is that the customers have a lot of challenge, how to improve the internal efficiency. How do you improve the customer experience? When they embedded inside, then we added inside this process mining together with RPA and the flow on ODM. Overall, we have a success to help the customer to transform their journey. And the result was significant. As you can see, 85% of the cost saving, 30% of the process time reduced, and overall, 20% of cost reduction. And that is where we help the organization to improve and scale. That is process mining. And I'm sure that some of you or the audience today here are aware what is RPA. Some of you is not. Just let me have a quick run through what is RPA is about. It's a buzzword everybody heard about throughout the past 3 years. So imagine as a finance operation, as a human, right? As an employee, you're a full-time employee with what we call FTE. This FTE have to perform various tasks. Open up the email from your and download the email with the attachment. Take a look at this data. And after that, transfer this information into an application, data transfer, right? Probably you have 100 or 1,000. You need to key in the information. After you're done, you need to save inside a folder. After that, keep in the database. And what happened? The challenge here is that it's time consuming, right? Humans need to check one by one, eyeballing. And along the way, there's some human error occur. And because it's such a labor intensive, it's high operation cost. That is the challenge that we see in the industry right now. When RPA come in, the whole process, everything's remain the same. There's nothing we change, but instead of having a humans doing the job, the RPA bot mimic the human actions, open up the email, download the email, check the data, open up, log in your application, sign in, start to transfer the information. And that is done by RPA. And what does the benefit come in from there? The first thing is the speed. Probably a human takes about an hour just to complete 100 transactions. A boss come in, instead of 60 minutes, he can complete less than 10 minutes. Accuracy is another big plus for RPAs to come inside the health organization, right? Because the RPA bot follow your instruction, copy the data into the application, follow your instruction. Just like your calculator, 1 + 1 is always 2. There's never say 3 or 4, right? And last thing is the optimize the operation cost. You used to have 3 or 4 FTE, full-time employees to do the job. Right now, you need one single bot to do the job and performing perfect at the end of the day. Now, I just want to show you a quick video of how RPA transfer the information in the blink of the light, right? So now, take a look over here. You have a purchase item with all this information. You need to key in about 7 items, 7 transactions. right? You need to put in this application, this field here. So now we create a bot, we trigger the bot. The bot get the information, start to input, look at the speed. That's how fast a bot can do. Imagine that you have 1,000 of transaction data is can complete within less than half an hour or 20 minutes. Instead of humans takes about 3-4 hours. So that is the power. What you're seeing here is the speed, the accuracy. Of course, end of the day, what is the ROI? The number one things we always can share with the customer is to improve your operation efficiency, right? That is where we help you to reduce your labor costs, enhance the customer experience. That's mean the job that we used to do doesn't require 2 to 3, 4 days. Right now is less than a day. We can complete better accuracy, right? And one of the key thing here is that bot run 24/7. It does not have an off day. So while we are having our break, the bot is actually at the back end running for you as normal, right? So that is the benefit. And last thing I would like to point out here is that as an employee, if every day I'm doing a repetitive task, I'm not very motivated with this job, but I am a very good employee and the company do not want to waste such resources. So what we can actually is to take away all this mandate repetitive stuff away from the humans, let it to the bot and do the job. And the human actually can come up more value added solution or job over there. So that is the outcome. Now, I would like to take a pause here for a while, just to bring up our second poll. So I think the question here is that, go ahead.
Sorry, Malcolm. So I will read the second poll and the last poll of today's program. So how far ahead is your organization in your RPA journey? And the options before you are never heard of it, evaluating, 0 to 15 bots, 15 plus bots. So I encourage audience to please participate in this poll question, and you have 45 seconds to answer the poll. So meanwhile, Malcolm, now what is your take on this question, and what you anticipate, like, the audience would go for? Which option you think?
Yeah, I'll take it as more of the in between the evaluation of 0-15 bots. So I would say in the Asia Pacific, all right, quite a substantial company actually want to start off the RPA journey, but they have no idea. They are worried about making some changes. What would the effect? And those people already start off with the RPA journey. They probably start off between like 1 or 2 bots. So that is the phase I think right now for AP customers are actually right now. So I hope that in this call, after this call, for those who have still evaluating, we are able to provide you a better pictures that you make your first step out from your comfort zone, start your digital transformation journey. And those we are 0, we are 1 or 2, we continue to expand more.
Right. So welcome. The results are before me. So I would like to read the results. So 39%, that's wonderful. 15% bots. So that's the option they have got highest percentage, followed by 29% people said that they are still evaluating. 23% voted 0 to 15 bots, and never heard of it. Got just 10% of the vote. So I think it's very similar to what you were telling right before the poll results. Yeah.
So I hope for the next half an hour, I can actually bring you guys to, for those who are evaluating, after this call, you will think that, wow, it's the right things that you make the first step, engage with IBM and how to start your automation journey. And those really have embedded on the RPA journey. Take a look at IBM RPA. What is the capability and the power that actually help you to scale further, right? So RPA is industry agnostic, right? They not focus on any particular industry. They are focused more in the process. So in every company or every industry, there has a finance company, a finance department. And finance department, you have account payable, account receivable. Every industry, every company have a HR, as a HR onboarding process. That is where RPA can come into this process. right? So what I'm showing here is in typically RPA used a lot, especially in the finance and accounting industry, particularly in account payable and account receiver when they want to start out with the RPA journey. So this, now let's take a look at this finance use case, reconciliation, right? Why I want to bring it out, this is every company will do this process. And the challenge part here is reconciliation is that you need to eyeball, you need to check the data. After you check the data, you need another person or your manager to validate the data, right? So the challenge here is to access different system. It requires FTE, time consuming because I'm eyeballing, checking every single item. Along the way, there might be a human error that occur. So that is the challenge. When we come in, the solution of using RPA is that the bot actually log in on their behalf at a certain time. There's no FTE to be required in that particular time. You can perform reconciliation in the midnight, right? Do the two-way or three-way matching. The best beauty of the RPA is that after you do the matching, they actually can create a log file and telling you that I have validated 100 data today. And now this 100, how many fail, how many is all right, and get this information and provide to the line of manager. And the ROI is significant, zero error, 100% productivities. And the best thing is that we optimize the operation cost, right? So here is the simple of the RPA demo here, just to show you guys. So this is the reconciliation process. So we have created the first bot. The first bot is to log in on behalf of the user, check the information and download this attachment. So we need to download the attachment into these two folders. Now the bot is triggered. And the bot is going to your email and start to download. And it only takes 6 seconds for that. And now you can see the Excel file has been downloaded and placed inside the folder. The second bot come in, start to pick up these two information, open up the Excel file, right? The next step here is to do reconciliation, matching all this information. After you match it, you actually save the information into the folder. So now the bot is being triggered to perform the task. And this information is saved inside this Excel file, telling you this is the information from the bank statement. And for verification and the daily report over here. So in the blink of a second, you see the bot actually perform less than 10 or 15 seconds. And that is the speed of RPA. So again, just to summarize, in the reconciliation, I interact with 3 applications, 2 FTE involved, perform the various tasks, and the time consumed is 36 minutes. If the box kick in, only takes 4 minutes. And it is the hour of saving per year. Not on the, if you multiply the number of hours with your man hour timesheet, that is give you the cost. Apart from that, there are certain things that we cannot measure or quantify, is the error accuracy, right? And that is where the big pain, if you do any mistake, that is the penalty will come in, that it will cost you a bomb. That is the part of the finance account reconciliation. Another thing I also want to bring to you is invoice processing. Likewise, this is the time saving we have, 361 hours, right? If you go into the telco industry, right? Telco industry that I have new customer, I want to create a new account creation. And probably it takes you like 12 minutes. But if you think that we can actually reduce from 12 minutes to 4 minutes, this is the number of hours we can save for you. Again, accuracy, speed, at the same time, we improve the customer satisfaction, right? We faster turn around to tell the customer, your account has been created. Now you can actually do your transaction, right? If you look into the retail industry, purchase order automation. Likewise, the time is saved very significantly. So for this purchase order, when the purchase orders come in, it's not on an Excel file, it's probably in a PDF. And this PDF, the RPA is not able to capture the information. Now, IBM RPA has the OCR capability engine that embedded into the RPA. Here, take a look here. I'm going to just play you a video. So this is a typical invoices. Invoices, we want to capture the invoice date, the number, the value. So this is a PDF format. Now we have the RPA OCR. Go and scan and capture this information. This is the three information that we capture using the OCR. But again, sometimes similar invoices have different invoices data a lot placed on another side. We also can train the IBM RPA OCR to get this information. Again, run the bot capture this information. That is the purchase order information that we need to transfer this information into the application. So now we complete the whole process here by doing data transfer. Whatever information you capture now has been input to the application. Look at that, the speed of RPA. So that is one of the key strengths that IBM RPA has. We have the embedded OCR engine at no cost. It's embedded inside our bot solution. So why are we looking at the IBM RPA? What is the value? Number one, we have not just the RPA, it's the advanced RPA capability. We have chatbox, a native chatbox embedded inside. We have OCR, right? No limitation or how many paper you want to scan, it's up to you, right? It's free of charge over there. Then coming back to the advanced front and back office automation, we can able to help our customer to reduce your total cost of ownership. How do you reduce your hardware cost? At the same time, improve your productivity times 2. The third point is one of the key strengths is that how can you actually scale outside RPA together what Vipin has shared with us on the CB for BA solution. The fourth thing here is IBM has a very flexible license model, not just on a 12-month subscription. We give you a perpetual, and we see a lot of customers want to have a one-time upfront investment, and every year they just pay us very small amounts of services and update costs for us. And last thing, IBM is a worldwide company, especially India. We have a very strong partner ecosystem and local support can actually provide the solutions to our customer. Here, I want to take you guys into the next thing here is IBM key strength RPA here is that we are able to deploy whether it's in the cloud or on-premise, right? Not every RPA solution are cloud native, but we are able to provide you as a cloud model and on-premise. Another thing here is saying, well, I heard about total cost of ownership. Can you just tell me about how can we save money from here? Imagine that looking at just now the poll, there is a certain percentage of people already start the RPA journey. Now, for sure that if you want to run every single bot, you need to have a hardware machine to support every single bot. Example, this case, you have 3 bots to run at the same time. You need to have 3 hardware machines to support. But IBM's solution is that one hardware, we can support up to 15 bots run at the same time. What does it mean? It means that you probably save about 93 hardware, 93, you're running 100 bots at the same time. That means that we only need 7 hardware machines for us to execute 100 bots to run at the same time. And this is where we can help the organization and customer to save the hardware costs. Right. Another things I want to bring you up here is the multi-threading. So if you guys have been running the bot is running on your desktop. At the same time, you try to open up a second application. Most of the time, the bot will fail because your second application is interfere with the bot execution. Now, this video will show you how IBM RPA bots here can perform 2 tasks at the same time without causing the bot to fail. The first bot is being triggered on the left-hand side of the screen. Log in on behalf of you and perform the task. At the same time, I might want to take up some information from the customer at the same time. I'm trying to open up my notepads, try to key in all this information. So you can see 2 operations performing at the same time. That means that times 2 of the productivities. And lastly, the chat box. There's not every RPA vendor in the market has that. Only a very handful, and this is a native. So let's say you're in the finance company, loan application. We create a bot in less than 30 minutes in this case. So the bot is a loan application. So the customer say, I want to check what is my loan application status right now. The bot say, thank you. Can I have your application number? So a human, I will key in very slowly. It is 128, 128. The bot validate information, go to the back end and check and come back to you. You have missed out 1 document. Please upload to the loan portal. So the bot actually perform the task as a primary role, right? That is where we make the customer satisfied. But again, there's another hidden task the bot can do over here. He actually can try to help you to upsell. Hey, Mr. Customer, why don't you just take a look at our best rate for April or offer to the newly graduate? So that is the powerful of the chat box. You do not need any third-party license. It's all inside our RPA solution. It doesn't need to have third-party tool to create a chat box. Using the same tool that you create for the task bot, you can use that to create a chat box. So now this video, just to show you the help desk. Help desk, most of the frequent request is password reset. Instead of having a human sitting and the desktop there to provide you information or respond by email, the bot actually can do behalf of the IT departments. So that is the beauty of having the chat box interact with the employee. Getting your employee ID, validate your employee email address. Once we validate that, the bot actually can send this information, say, wow, I actually have sent the password emails to your account. Please check. And that is done by the chatbox capability. So here, this is how a summary of IBM RPA over here. We can deploy in the cloud, on-premise. We have the OCR engine. We have the studio, the tool that create the bot. And the beauty of here is that it's unlimited. If you have 10 developer, we give you 10 developer studio license, right? And this is how you to speed out the whole developments. Environments, attended bot, unattended bot. We have a dashboard. We also have the chat box. Now, here, this is the part that none of the RPA vendor in the market has that. As what we've been saying, we are one solution end to end. RPA is the hands to do the job. Content is the brain, and decision on the left brain. We have the workflow with the eyes and the capture. If you think that you need a much more powerful chatbox capability, you also can get our IBM Watson Assistant. So this is the process flow of how IBM RPA works with the workflow solution, hand in hand, in the claim processing. We also have the capture to support the unstructured data using the data capture to identify and digitize the information. At the same time, decision work hand in hand with RPA. So that is proven that RPA together with DBA, we are able to help you to achieve the end-to-end hyper automation over here. To summarize here is that if you go with IBM RPA, what is the digital transformation? What are the benefits? First, for the first 3 months, you have the choice to deploy what kind of mode, hybrid cloud, public cloud, private cloud, or you want to go on-premise. Fast development is because we give you unlimited studio license. You can have 10 or 20 developers to quickly implement the bot. We have the OCR, they deal with semi or unstructured data. We are able to help you to automate not just the front office, but also the back office. After the first 3 months, you see the value, you want to increase more bot, more processors, and more hardware need to support the bot. But instead of having one hardware to one bot, you can have one hardware support 15 bot. That is how you to reduce the total cost of ownership. Likewise, double your productivities using the multi-threading on the same screen. Again, more bot, you need more developer, more license. Here, now this is a part you say, I'm hungry. I want to make more ROI. I want to have customer engagement. This is where you can actually leverage IBM RPA checkbox to help you to engage with your customer, improve the customer satisfaction. That is the 3 to 6 months. And the last phase here is we talk about transformation. I want to do full suite of solution right now. I'm hungry. I want to have decision. I want to have workflow. This is where VPN part will come into the picture, work hand in hand with our IBM RPA to achieve the hyperautomation. So that is the digital transformations with IBM. So I just want to have a quick discussion with you guys. I just want to walk you through because this is some of the questions that we always get from our audience. Number one question, how do you determine which process are suitable for RPA? And from just now from the poll, some people are still evaluating. Some of them, 10% are not started the RPA. So how you to understand, RPA is good to automate, or a good candidate is based on 4 key things here. First, it has to be a structured data like an Excel file. But if you are having invoices, it's the unstructured data, no worry. We have an OCR engine in IBM solution that help you to digitize this and become a structured data. Second, it has to be a rule-based to let the bot to follow. For loan applications, like anything that above 5,000, I need to trigger my manager. Anything that below 5,000, I will actually pass it if it meets all the requirements. Right? The third point you guys have to remember is have to be high volume. If you talk about 10 transactions per day, this is a very small transaction, not ideal. But you talk about 100 to 1,000 of volume, that is where RPA is a good candidate. And lastly, it will be a good as a repetitive task. Things that you do every single day, like reconciliation, invoice processing, account payable, all these are something that you do every single day, right? Another second question is, how do you drive governance? Right? I implement the RPA. How do I control or track the RPA? So here is that IBM, we offer the RPA solution with one platform to start out with, right? The solution one platform include one environment for you to manage your license, right? This is your environment. This is where you control when I need to schedule the bot, when to need to run. If I'm a developer, my right is only to create a bot. My right is not to run the bot. If I mean to run the bot, I have no right to alter or edit the bot. So in a way, this is the environment is to govern the whole process, right? As likewise, you create a bot with the studio, unlimited is a local environment, and you run whether on the business need of attended bot or unattended bot. The third question is that how will you scale the RPA across organization? How you want to make sure that everybody on board or expand to other business unit? Here, IBM, we offer as an unlimited studio tool, right? A tool that with no limitation. If you have 100 employees, all these 100 employees were able to have the studio license installed in their desktop and start to learn how to build a bot and how to you build a bot and automate a task level and slowly progress to the process, right? It's a no code and low code environment. It's more than 600 per month for you to drag and drop, right? Just a bit of IT background, programming background, you can easily hands-on and start to create a first bot. The last question here is I always get, how do we ensure or cater for end-to-end automation, right? Likewise, on my early slide, the discovery phase, we help you identify the process. We using RPA to automate this process, achieve a quick win, And lastly, in the transformation with the hyper automation, right? So that is the part of how can we scale to hyper automation. So here, I like to summarize how can we have the first win quickly with the process mining, identify the candidates, and start to automate the process and win more with IBM RPA++. The last two slides I want to share with you is that in IBM, our business partner, we work with our business partner to perform a lot of process discovery workshop, right? If you guys are unsure that what are the processes that you can identify and automate, we actually work with our business partner, conduct a free process discovery workshop at your site. All you need to do is bring in your business developer, come inside this session. We explain to them what is RPA, how do you identify the RPA process, and we walk you through. End of the day, probably by end of the day, we can help you to identify some of the process can be automated. And likewise, we also conduct free hands-on training or build-a-box sessions for our customer, right? Customers have already purchased our license and they think that, wow, we would like to have our team to learn how to create a bot. And that is where IBM and our business partner will conduct a regular hands-on workshop at each country in the AP, right? So that is, we are helping you to learn and build your first bot over here. For that, I think this is my session. We have about 5 more minutes to go. So I just want to open up for a Q&A.
Thank you, Malcolm, for such an insightful presentation. I hope there will be many takeaway for the audience. So now we are going to begin answering the questions submitted during today's presentation. As a reminder to the audience, you can still submit questions through the questions panel in your attendee control panel. So I'll take the first question, Malcolm. So I would also request Vipin to join. So this question is from Ankit Sharma. He wants to know that how could we add intelligence and insight while automating a process or defining confidence interval of the accuracy of results of automated output?
Would that be you, Vipin?
Yeah, so Ankit, thanks for asking that question. So what we provide here is we provide both the RPA plus the BPM, that is the workflow capability together, help you to automate both part of the RPA could do 1 or 2 steps in the automation in the process, but the workflow will complete the complete transaction in the complete process. So we provide an end-to-end capability in that sense.
Right. So I'll take a second question. This question is from Sunil Garg. His question is, how can I get assurance bot will do the activity which it is supposed to do and will not perform any unwanted activity, or I can say developer has not configured any unauthorized action?
Yeah, can you come back the question again? Sorry, I didn't catch you.
Yeah, sure. So I'll repeat it. So how can I get assurance bot will do the activity which it is supposed to do and will not perform any unwanted activity, or I can say developer has not configured any unauthorized action?
Okay, so the bot here is a tool. A bot is following your instruction. So if I give my instruction to the bot, it say that, well, your first job is to open up the email, right? Identify the keyword of the purchase order from the title. The bot will follow your instruction. The bot will never be so smart to do anything that outside your instruction. So for that part there, I don't think the bot will be able to do anything outside from his original task. I hope they answered the question.
Sure. So I'll take next question again, Ankit. This question is from Ankit. Ankit said that speaker mentioned that RPA can also be implemented on unstructured data. How does a bot create meaningful information out of unstructured information? For example, a CRM tool that reads the feedbacks on app and recommend call to action for next upgrade.
So when you talk about unstructured data, typically we are saying that data is mostly in the PDF formats, right? Or picture file. This information are scattered around. So what we are doing here is using the OCR engine to capture this information. So if I'm saying that this date of these invoices, I want to capture the invoice date. It's probably in the top right corner. I want to capture the total value on the bottom left. So what we need to do is to instruct the OCR, this is the particular field that you need to extract, and that it will be your invoice number and the total value on the bottom left. Get this information, put it down, and next thing that is transfer this information into a Excel file. An Excel file is a structured data, and that is where the RPA is able to read this information and continue to input this value into the next process. Yeah, right. At the same time, if things that if another scenario we always get is that, wow, we have hundreds of customer template vendor, and it's all different scattered around, and that is the parts that is so getting complex that we need a faster time, more accuracy. That is where our data capture will come into the feature, is a templateless list. So we actually can, when the data cap actually be trained on all these 100 different templates and get the information back to the user.
Right. So though it is not part of the conversation, so but the audience wants to know whether these slides shared on the screen, will those be shared with participants? So so we'll check back on that, and we'll let you know. So also I would like to take the question from Mr. Mohammed Faisal Rahman. He wanted to know, does OCR has ML inbuilt so that eventually can be intelligent enough to reach 95% plus efficiency?
So you're talking about the accuracy, right?
Yes.
So maybe Apisha, you can take that. I'll have a technical or VP would like to take up that. Apisha?
Yeah,
Yes.
so Vipin here, the accurate, so OCR has the NLP capability. It learns the type of document, classification, extraction, and the template of the document, and against that it extracts the data. So if there is a new supply, automatically it learns the type of a document, keywords related to extraction it does. So it understands the type of document and learns it over a period of time. So it increases the efficiency over a period of time as it grows old, because more and more knowledge base it gets into it.
Yeah. So just to give you a bit more favor, if let's say I have a transaction that $100, 100.00, but when the OCR or the data capture go inside the edit, it found that, hey, something wrong. Why this value doesn't have a decimal point? So what he learned is pop out this information, and the human will go inside here. Well, let me teach you. I correct for you. There should be a decimal point, and that is the first time you teach the OCR the machine learning part. And the second invoice come in, and it's still missing the decimal point. And that is the bot will say, wow, I think just now you taught me there should be a decimal point. I auto correct for you. Can you validate? If yes, this is the second time you teach the bot. The third time, when the same issue come up, the bot will not require you anymore. He had learned from you as a machine learning and start to verify and correct for you and continue the whole process.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take another question from Rahul Chawla. If we build multiple bots, how can we monitor or track the efficiency of each of the bots on daily basis?
So that's a good question. So IBM RPA, we have a dashboard, and dashboard is like an overview to show you, I have created 10 bots, right? And this bot has been scheduled and run at certain time. And this 10 bot has been running smoothly at the same time, or it has failed along the way. Another thing that I would like to bring attention is in our IBM, the dashboard here is that you actually can calculate the ROI value. So you can actually say that, well, if I run this process, 1 hour will probably cost me about $5, right? And by doing that, every hour I will save $5. So the bot is run along the way for the past 3 months. You can actually tell users that, hey, for the past 3 months, you have been execute the bot. This is a number of 300 hours you can save. 300 times 5 is going to be $1,005. So that is the dashboard beauty. So it's not just studying the efficiency, but also telling you what is the ROI they generate from the RPA bots. I'm happy to share with you more demo. If you like to have this, we can actually send the request to me. We actually can send you some link. They can take a look from here.
Right. I'll take one or two more questions from the audience. So one question is from Prantik Kumar. So brief info on RPA validation system flow.
Come again.
Brief info on RPA validation system flow.
Yeah.
Wants to know more about it.
So can you? I also want to understand a bit more what you mean by validation flow.
Maybe we can take it offline
Right.
if that is fine. So I also have a question from the audience. So the question is any additional license or cost for IBM RPA chatbot?
Oh, that's a good question. So IBM checkbox here is actually embedded in our unattended bot. So if you say that in your organization, you have a call center of 20 agents, and you want to use this checkbox to replace this 20 agent, all you need to do is just to purchase 20 more unattended bot license from us and to replace the agent to start the checkbox capability. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, sure. Another question from Mr. Faisal Rahman. So he wants to know how is the solution handled when bot is engaged in a particular job which has a long waiting time? Has IBM developed any method which can use that waiting time by load sharing process?
Yeah. So if you say that we have the things called workload management, right? A workload management, that means that if I find that this process will takes about 100 transaction, 1,000 transaction, and one bot will probably takes only, if one bot is to do, it probably takes you 3 hours. So we actually have a workload management tool over there that you actually say that, well, I can actually put this bot in the queue. Whichever bot is available will become and help to process the 1,000 transaction. That means that if I have 1,000 transaction, I can split between 3 bots, and each bot only takes 1 hour. So instead of waiting for 3 hours, you can complete within 1 hour.
All right, I'll take one last two questions. So is there any limitation usage of IBM RPA OCR to scan?
Yes, there's no limitation. So RPA bot is limited by time, right? The bot only can execute 24 hours. So if you have 1,000 of copy to be scanned, and this fall within 24 hours, you can use that. If you have 10,000 of copy and it takes more than 24 hours, that means that you need to have 2 bots to scan instead of 1.
Yes, sure. Also, the last question is, what is the difference between process mining and task mining?
Okay, so good question. So process mining is using event logs to figure out the process. And you need to collect this event logs from the system to get the result, right? That is process mining. A task mining is more like a supplement to the process mining. So the task mining record the user action on the desktop, and they actually detect how many time of the employee is need to be spent. So that is the difference between the process mining and the task mining. Yeah.
With this, Malcolm and Vipin, I thank you, and also to audience. I thanks to audience for attending today's webinar, how to jumpstart your hyperautomation journey with AI-driven RPA. If you have any other question, please contact the speakers. So they are with us. So, and also do participate in the survey form, and we would appreciate if you would complete that and provide your feedback. You will find the survey form in your browser, so please do participate in that. And with this, on behalf of Express Computer and our presenters, thank you everyone for joining us today, and I wish you a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.